in 경기장 도시형.
Okay, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen, for game number 1 of this best of 9 between imbaFXO and StarTale here over at the 3 o'clock position on Shattered Temple. We have our representative from StarTale, that is Sound. And his opponent at the 9 o'clock position, he is our yellow Terran player hailing from imbaFXO, that is BratOK.
Yep. And, you know, speaking of Joffrey, he's kind of a jerk, right? You could,
sure,
but
yeah.
his parents are okay with it. It's kind of like he's a brat. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Oh no! Did I just actually say that out loud?
Oh my God!
Oh man!
Queen Cersei is just shaking her head slowly at you right now.
Jeez.
If there's anyone you don't want shaking your head at you, it's Queen Cersei.
I don't know. It's worse than like having her like order my head off. I mean, that does happen.
I suppose
sometimes.
so.
Yeah.
Or making love to her brother. But anyway.
Oh, wow. You went there,
I
didn't
did
you?
go there.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Ha! Anyway, so guys.
You weren't afraid at all of going there.
No.
Okay.
Unfiltered. So, guys, we have a TBT on Shattered Temple cross positions. And as I mentioned kind of before the cast, BratOK has been going with a 15 gas build pretty much every matchup, every game. So, would not be too shocked to see that this game as well.
Yeah, I would say so. And good old TVT on Shattered Temple, yeah.
Oh, defying my expectations.
Oh, what's that? Basic normal openings for each player?
A normal opening. There you go.
All right.
So,
I'm trying to turn my game sounds up here. It's a little bit low.
Gotcha.
There we go. I think I got it. Okay.
Very nice. Very nice.
Very nice. I wanted to hear the every little ratchet and clank of the Terran buildings being built.
Oh, of course.
Yep. So, yeah, like you were saying, a really normal opening from both players.
Yep.
No idea really what they're going to go into at this point. Obviously, it's not going to be a gasless expand or something like that. We know that so far. But there's a lot of things you can do from here. You can do a very basic, like, tank marine Viking push if you'd like. A lot of players like to go Banshee out of this and expand. There's a tech lab on the barracks, so we could see a Reaper expand theoretically from Sound. Probably not going to be making Marauders out of that.
Yeah, shows it to BratOK, and he gets picked up on it, but of course he won't critically see anything inside of the base while this happens. And we'll see what that first unit's going to pop out is, and it is, ladies and gentlemen, a Reaper.
Well, interestingly enough, a tech lab for BratOK as well on his barracks. So
yes, it is.
Might see some Reapers from him as well. That's kind of rare. You don't see both players opening Reapers terribly often. But, you know, it's a good map for it. There's a lot of space for the Reapers to jump in, do some scouting, and get out.
And let's see here is, you were talking about it. Just an immense amount of cliff line all the way around the side, which is very difficult to detect. You will see a lot of players just drop down, supply depot right there just to keep vision of that cliff line.
Yep, that certainly does help a little bit, or, patrol their Marines along the side, kind of like BratOK is doing right now, actually. Moving those Marines into place. Well, obviously he saw the tech lab, so he's kind of expecting it, but a lot of players will just take a Marine or two and put them on patrol there anyway.
And BratOK is throwing down his expansion at the natural right away. We'll see if this Reaper makes its way out here in just a bit. SCV skirting away, has a kill, did manage to kill the SCV that was constructing the supply depot here. Got to think, why would you do that to your brethren? You know what that pain feels like.
Second Reaper, actually, for Sound. So if he starts a third one, that's going to get really interesting. But
for
it looks
both players.
Yeah, and there is a third Reaper for Sound. Okay, cool. I like it. It's kind of interesting. And combat shields going up for BratOK as well. Looks like you're going to follow this up with some sort of Marine push. A couple more barracks being added on for Sound as well. But I'm kind of surprised that Sound's adding on that third Reaper. We'll have to see kind of what he plans to do with that. I guess he just wants to be able to do a little bit more heavier harassment. I mean, we've seen the build in Korea that players like Boxer and Marine King have done that are kind of the Speed Reaper, Hellion, Medevac opening. Obviously, this is not it, but it's kind of odd to see 3 Reapers produced by Sound right there.
And 3 Reapers coming out for BratOK as well. The 3 Reaper opening for both players, as a matter of fact. And I had talked to a few Terran players over here in the West, and they had liked this build quite a bit, actually, opening up with 3 Reapers. But question is, what are they going to do afterwards? It looks like 3 Reaper, not Weeper.
Whoa.
3 Reaper on 3 Reaper battle, and you see how quickly they deal damage to light units, and just getting that one-shot advantage for
nice
Sound
targeting.
is so critical.
Good targeting by BratOK to kill that 1 Reaper. Only 1 left, and he's going to need to make a run for it. 1 Reaper does beat 1 Marine, though, so yeah, he'll be able to do that. 1 Reaper does not beat 2 Marines, though, so he's going to have to run now. So guys pretty much trading evenly there. Not a whole lot of difference. I'd say it came out a little bit better for Sound. He's the one who did survive with one of his Reapers intact. But combat shields finishing up for both players at about the same time. So we may have one of those weird situations where they kind of end up running into each other with the same army in kind of the middle of the map. Always a little bit humorous when that happens.
And, yeah, I mean, especially because it really comes down to control, but you also have moments when they just fight themselves to a draw.
Yeah,
and,
that too.
I love the moment. I've actually seen one engagement where, as the submarines make their way out for Braddock, where virtually identical armies came at each other, and the tanks fired and killed each other as at the last volley, and they actually completely obliterated each other. There was nothing left standing for either player.
Well, that's convenient. Nice. All right. Oh, going after the gold quickly is BratOK. Not a bad idea if he thinks he can kind of hold that with his bio play. And bio play in TVT has been something that's always been around since day one of the beta, of course. There was a short time in Korea where everybody was going mech, but then players like Slayers MMA came along, especially after the Blue Flame Hellion nerf, and kind of showed that on some maps, bio can still be more than viable.
Sure.
So we've kind of got a bit of a bio renaissance in TVT right now, and so it's kind of interesting to see both of these players go for that.
Bio Renaissance.
Bio Renaissance.
I love it.
It sounds like a great band name, doesn't it?
Fantastic
Actually, now that I think about
expression. A good band
I'm
name.
going to call my band Bio Renaissance.
Who's Michelangelo and where's the Sistine Chapel?
He was a Renaissance painter, and the Sistine Chapel is, of course, at the Vatican in Rome.
Oh, thank you.
I've been there. It's
Yes,
quite cool, actually.
With Wikipedia down, I
know. Yeah, look at that. I have facts even without Wikipedia. Dropping the true knowledge.
Wikipedia is always so intense for me because I'm like, oh,
It's
well,
intense.
I wonder about the city of San Francisco, and 3 hours later I'm reading about the Battle of the Bulge, and I can't stop.
That's,
But anyway.
isn't it weird how whenever you go to
Yeah.
Wikipedia for something, you always end up on a World War II topic? It does happen, doesn't it? It really does.
I have the excuse. I was studied World War II. That was what my major, my specialty was at. But
Happens to
but
everybody.
you're right. You're right. I'm glad to know that it happens to other people than just me, though.
It does. I bet a lot of people out there can agree.
All right. Well, little engagement in the middle now is BratOK making his way out
Oh.
to the Zelnaga
Ooh.
Tower. His stim did finish up. Actually, both players finishing up at basically the same time. But it looks like Sound just wants to
man.
pull him back to this big prepared concave.
Yeah, this is one of those weird engagements where both players have about the same amount of units. Sound, though, definitely having the better concave right now. And these guys both need to be so careful about pushing into each other. I mean, one little move could mean the end of the game. And Sound, wow, bullying his way across the map right now.
Yes, he is.
Really moving out there.
Got a few SCVs in tow as well. 4 of them, as a matter of fact. Any
Yep.
others? No, not right now. BratOK is actually up by 12 supply, expanding to his 3rd right now. He did take out those destructible rocks leading to the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, okay. And, BratOK has really set himself up really well to expand if the opportunity presents itself. Like you said, he took out the rocks at the gold. He took out the rocks heading into his more normal 3rd. So as long as he can find a safe time to do it, he might be able to get a little bit of an economic edge on his Korean opponent there.
All right, well, let's see. As BratOK is going to... well, those 2 Marines don't stand a chance.
Nope.
Sound sitting in the middle of the map. Now, what is he producing? He's got a couple of medevacs coming up. He's switching into tanks at the same time BratOK is. BratOK's a little bit ahead. He's going to finish his first tank and siege mode a bit ahead of his opponent.
BratOK is actually going to have a really nice little timing here. If he decides to hit it just right, he can go ahead and siege up Sound's natural before Sound has siege mode himself. And, it might be one of those things that BratOK just decides not to use. But, because, of course, how could he know that Sounds is later? But if he happens to hit a very unique timing with that, he could do some decent damage.
Well, we'll see what BratOK's planning to do with this little task force moving out across the map, as he could drop into the main pretty easily, but Sounds... I mean, he's fairly well defended. He's got enough stuff back at home. He's producing off of enough barracks that that shouldn't be too big of a problem.
He's going to go check out the gold, but that is not a place he wants to send those Marines right now. Oh, no. Whoops.
Boom.
A little bit of a
Headshot.
mistake by BratOK there. I think he was kind of looking to see if there was an SCV building a command center or something that he could snipe off, but nope, he found the entire army. That's kind of unfortunate.
Now he's moving out before +1 armor is finished. That upgrade did finish for Sound. BratOK does have that slight advantage in tanks, though, as I mentioned. Actually, it's going to become a little bit considerable, as he's going to be on 3 tanks here before his opponent finishes up his 2nd. So BratOK could use that advantage and kind of press it home a little bit.
Oh.
Sound actually going around the northern route, though.
You know what? We might have a bit of a base trade unless Sound turns around here. Uh-oh, BratOK stemming in right now, and he is going to do some serious damage. Sound is indeed turning around. Is BratOK going to siege up in time to respond to this?
I hope so. He needs to siege up right now. He is, as a matter of fact. Just one tank sitting there for Sound on the high ground. Another one sieging up behind as well. The SEVs were brought in, but they were actually driven off of the tanks pretty quickly. BratOK doing some good damage. It looks like Sound is eventually going to clean this up, but I've got to say, that heavily favored BratOK.
Yeah, look at that. Even though Sound won that fight, BratOK is way ahead in supply right now. His gold is really starting to go. He's got so many SCVs because of that. Oh, man, BratOK just took such a huge lead in this game.
All right, well, we'll see what Sound can do to come back. It looks like the answer for him is move across the map, but look at that. Already a pretty good defensive position set up for BratOK. He's got a lot of units popping out as well. 2-2 on the way. Of course, he has that gold, as you mentioned, so this is not looking good for Sound.
Yeah, I got to say, BratOK is just really outplaying Sound right now. There he goes, moving in with all his Marines, tanks in the back. It's going to be an easy win in this fight for BratOK, and Sound maybe on the verge, there it is, of GGing. And imbaFXO.BratOK taking game 1 against StarTale.